All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're diving headfirst into one of the internet's most bizarre and, honestly, most fascinating trends. It's a style of comedy that, on the surface, seems to make absolutely no sense at all.
Okay, take a look at this. Try to read it out loud. It's just a jumble, right? It sounds like a computer program just glitched out. Well, this exact string of gibberish is the puzzle that we are going to solve together today.
So yeah, this is probably the question on your mind, and you're not wrong to be confused. If you use the normal rules of language, it is complete nonsense. But what if it's not playing by those rules? What if it's a different game entirely? Let's treat this like an investigation.
So, our first move is to stop trying to understand this as a conversation. Instead, we're going to treat this thing like an artifact, a piece of data that we can scan for clues, for structure, for any hidden patterns. Whenever you're trying to crack a code, the first thing you look for is repetition. Stuff that shows up over and over again is usually a pretty big clue. So let's start pulling out the sounds and words that keep popping up in all this chaos.
Now, here's what's so interesting. Yeah, these are words we know, but their dictionary definition doesn't really matter here. Yahoo isn't about a search engine, it's an explosion of joy. 33 isn't a number, it's a quick, rhythmic beat. Their power is all in the sound, not the meaning.
Okay, so we've got these rhythmic sounds, but buried deep inside the gibberish is something else, something that every single one of us can recognize instantly, and that is raw human emotion. Let's pull those out next.
See? You don't need any context at all to know what these mean. My God is shock. Wow is surprise. Oh no is that feeling of dread. Yeehaw is pure joy. These are like little emotional shortcuts that work no matter what language you speak because the tone tells you everything you need to know.
So we have rhythm, and we have emotion. The last piece of this puzzle is action. There's one little phrase that gets repeated that takes all this chaos and kind of grounds it in the physical world. It hints that something is actually happening. I hold him up. This phrase pops up a couple of times. It's one of the only lines that describes a clear physical act. And all of a sudden, it suggests a little scenario is playing out, right? It gives all those sounds and all those emotions a little story to latch onto. And this table just lays it all out. What seemed like a totally random mess of noise is actually a kind of toolkit. You've got sounds to create energy, you've got emotional cues for the feeling, and you've got action words that hint at a story. It's not random at all. It's a system. So we've broken down all the parts, we've analyzed the data, and now it's time for the big reveal. Let's put it all together and figure out what this strange, hilarious form of communication actually is. And here it is, the big aha moment. We've been trying to read a map with the wrong key this whole time. This isn't a failed attempt to speak English, it's a successful attempt to communicate using a totally different system, one that's built for comedy, not for conversation. And there's actually a name for this, alinguistic comedy. Alinguistic meaning without language. Think about it. It's the humor of Charlie Chaplin or Mr. Bean or old school cartoons. It's comedy that works through pure performance, using the human voice as an instrument for sound and emotion, not for words.
But this isn't just random yelling. Like any good form of comedy, this alinguistic style, it actually follows its own rules. And once you see them, this whole tweet thing starts to make perfect sense.
So here they are, the 3 simple rules. First, emotion over meaning. A big, happy Yahoo is just way funnier than someone saying, I feel joy. Second, rhythm is the punchline. That quick, repetitive 3-3 is the joke. It's a comedic beat. And third, action creates context. The hint of physical comedy, like I hold him up, gives us a scene to imagine in our heads. So why does any of this matter? Why has this kind of digital gibberish gotten so popular online? Well, the answer actually tells us something really fascinating about how we all communicate in this global internet age. This chart really explains its power. Just look at this. It has huge appeal because, 1, it totally bypasses language barriers. It relies on emotions that all humans share. And maybe most importantly, you don't need any complex cultural knowledge. You don't have to get an inside joke or some pop culture reference. And that is the ultimate takeaway here. The joke just lands. It works whether you speak English, Mandarin, Spanish, whatever. A surprised wow or a silly Yahoo is understood by everybody. It really is a punchline for the entire planet. Which leaves us with a pretty wild final thought. In our quest to connect the whole world, we've always imagined these complex translation tools or brand new universal languages. But maybe, just maybe, the internet has already stumbled upon one. A perfect, universal language that isn't built on words at all, but on pure, chaotic, and hilarious human expression. What do you think?